Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on Introduction to Engineering Drawings. By the end of this session, you'll have a clear understanding of the basic elements that make up a standard technical drawing layout. This is our first step for you to be able to create your own drawings that adheres to industry standards. Here's what we'll cover in this session. First, we'll learn why technical drawings are important as they help communicate our design ideas clearly. Next, we'll also discuss the placement of components on a drawing which follows specific industry standards. The key points are simple. Number one, engineering drawings communicate ideas in a universally understood way. Number two, standards ensure the correct and consistent placement of components, making drawings easy to read and interpret. Now let's move forward and see how this works in practice. So if you have an idea in mind and need to quickly share it with your coworkers, what's the best method? The answer is simple, a sketch. A sketch is a quick freehand drawing meant to capture an idea. It's not meant to be a final detailed drawing of the finished product, but rather a tool to express your initial thoughts. It is perfect for brainstorming and collaboration. Once your design is complete and ready for manufacturing or to be used as a legal document, how do you communicate it? The answer is through a technical or engineering drawing. So what is a technical drawing? It can refer to both the process and the result. As a verb, it is the process of creating an engineering drawing. As a noun, it is the set of drawings that clearly communicate your idea, design, or model in detail, ensuring that it can be accurately built or understood. An engineering drawing is a type of technical drawing used to clearly define the requirements for an engineered part or system. It is all about precision and detail. Now, there are three main ways to create an engineering drawing. These methods allow you to communicate your design effectively, whether it is in its early stage or fully developed. Number one, we have freehand sketch. This method involves drawing lines with just a pencil and eraser on blank or grid paper. It is very quick and it is also flexible. Number two is by using instruments. With drawing tools like rulers, straight edges, compass, and curves, you can create more precise drawings. And the third one is by using a computer. Most modern engineering drawings are done using CAD software for maximum accuracy and efficiency. Engineering drawings must follow standards or rules that ensure consistency and accuracy in how the drawing is presented. Some key standards include, number one, we have ASME or the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, and we also have the ISO or the International Standards Organization. But why are these standards important? Number one is by minimizing our mistakes. So standards help reduce errors in our drawings, in reading them, manufacturing them, and during inspection. Number two is for international communication. So standards ensure that our drawings can be understood and followed anywhere in the world. In short, standards make sure everyone is on the same page no matter where they are. Now let's look at the typical format and contents of an engineering drawing. Every engineering drawing includes essential elements such as zones, border, revision block, title block, drawing area, notes, and tolerance and projection blocks. These components ensure that the drawing communicates all necessary details clearly and effectively. The physical size of a printed engineering drawing is also standardized. This is controlled by ASME Y14.1N. Engineering drawings come in different sizes, typically ranging from A0 to A4 sized paper. A0 is the largest. It is used for every detailed and complex designs, and A4 is the smallest, commonly used for simple drawings. These sizes ensure consistency, so everyone working with the drawing knows exactly what to expect. Let's now focus on the drawing area, or the space within the borders where the actual drawing is presented. In this area, you will find the main views of the part or system, such as the front, top, and side views. You can also find here detailed drawings, which zoom in on complex sections to provide us clarity, and also the dimensions, labels, and any other information that ensures the design can be accurately interpreted and also manufactured. The drawing area is where all this essential information about the design is concentrated, and it must be organized and it must be clear. Next, we have zoning, which helps in navigating especially larger drawings. Zoning uses letter number combinations, which is similar to your map grid. This is done in order to indicate specific locations on an engineering drawing. This zoning makes it easier to reference particular areas and ensures clear communication when discussing or reviewing the drawing. For example, if someone asks you to check a detail in section B4, you will know exactly where to look. Next, let's talk about the drawing scale, which expresses the ratio between the size of the object in the drawing versus its actual physical size. We have three types of scale. 1:1 scale is used for full size. X:1, where X is greater than 1, represents a drawing that is enlarged. On the other hand, 1:X, where X is still greater than 1, means that the drawing shows an reduction in scale. The drawing scale is usually found in the title block. However, the dimension numbers shown on the drawing always represents the true size of the object. This is regardless of the scale used. This ensures that measurements are accurate for manufacturing or construction. So here are the standard reducing scales. You have 1:2, 1:5, 1:10, etc. Also, we have the enlarging scales, which are 2:1, 5:1, 10:1. Next, drawing notes. These provide additional information that clarifies specific requirements or introduces new details necessary for manufacturing the object correctly. For example, a note might say, all rounds and fillets radius 12 unless otherwise specified. These notes ensure that no important details will be missed, especially when specific instructions are not covered by the dimensions or views represented in the drawing. Now let's take a look at the title block, which is an essential part of every engineering drawing. It provides us key information to ensure the drawing is properly identified and understood. As shown in this example, the title block typically includes the following. You have the company name and address in order for us to identify who prepared the drawing. You also have the drawing title, which is a brief description of the part or system being drawn. Next, the drawing sheet or the drawing number. So the drawing number is a unique identifier for tracking engineering drawings. Next, you have the sheet revision. This includes information on any updates made to the drawing. You also have the sub-blocks for drafter, checker, and engineer to indicate who prepared, reviewed, and approved the drawing. This is shown in block or label E. Next, for label F, you have the approval by the design activity. So this is necessary for contractor or subcontractor conditions. Next, you have G, approval by other activities if applicable. H is for the scale, which again shows the drawing scale used in the drawing. So it's either enlargement or reduction. You also have the design activity identification, which is another code for tracking your drawings. J is for the drawing size, which specifies the paper size used in the drawing. K is the weight or the actual weight of the item, if possible. And L is for the sheet number in order to track the sequence of multiple sheets. So the title block ensures that anyone looking at the drawing has all the relevant information at hand. So what's important here is the company name, the address, the drawing title, the drawing number, the sheet size, the drawing size, the scale, the sheet number, and of course, the sub-blocks for the drafter, checker, and engineer. We also have the revision history block, which is used to track changes or revisions made to an engineering drawing. Typically, this is found in the upper right corner of our blueprints. So here's what each part of the block represents. You have A, the zone, which specifies the location of the revision on the drawing. B specifies the revision or the revision letter or number. C is for the description, which gives us a short summary of the changes made. D is for the date, the revision date, which is typically shown in the format year dash month dash day. And lastly, for E, this includes the initials of the person who approved the change. It could be the engineer or the drafter. And lastly, let's look at the tolerance and projection blocks. These are two elements critical to ensure the precision of the design. The tolerance block provides the allowable variations in dimensions. Since perfect manufacturing is rarely possible, tolerances define how much variation is acceptable without affecting the part's functionality. So in our third quarter, we will discuss in depth what are these tolerances. Next, the projection block, which indicates the method of projection used in the drawing. Typically, there are two types of projection used, the first angle and the third angle projection. These projections define how different views, like our front, top, and side, are arranged on the drawing. This ensures that everyone interprets the views in the same way. So let us review your different projection methods in the second quarter. So together, these two blocks ensure clarity and precision in the manufacturing process. To summarize, understanding the key elements of an engineering drawing, such as format, standards, and blocks, is essential for clear and accurate communication in design and fabrication. So mastering these concepts ensures that your drawings will be precise, consistent, and universally understood in the engineering world.